Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope everything is fantastic. I had a crazy busy weekend, and I know that I had something I wanted to talk about. I had a topic, and I can't remember it at all. Um, no clue whatsoever. It was a busy weekend because maybe you know, maybe you don't know. M has been in my life now for 3 years. I met her 3 years ago when I started my new job. And since that time, well, 5, 6 months after I met her, she started spending time here with me, playing video games and hanging out. And we started trying to work on the house. I had gone through a period in my life that was, I was very poor. I was, I wasn't necessarily on the verge of losing my house, but I was really close. I was like, house payment I kept making, but there were months where utilities would get shut off because we couldn't afford it and have to wait a couple of days to get them turned back on, and it was tough, right? And then the family moved out, and then it all fell on me to completely take care of this place, and I didn't. I didn't do very well, and so I find that one of the aspects of being poor that I didn't until recently, until I started to kind of look at the state of things. One of the aspects that I faced from being poor was it was very difficult for me to throw anything away. When you can't go buy something, right? So I couldn't say I want a new tape measure, so I'll go buy a new tape measure. That just simply couldn't happen. I didn't have the money to go buy a tape measure. And so I'd have to make do with whatever it was I would have. And because I could make do with whatever I had at hand, chances of me getting rid of things were very slim because they might be useful for some aspect you didn't think of. For instance, here is a piece of, I don't know, a cherry. I know what it is. It's cherry. There's a piece of cherry that I pulled out of my scrap bin. Why is this in my scrap bin? I don't know. It has 2 holes drilled in it. I probably use it as a story stick at some time, but I kept this. I kept this because this could be a story stick. I could put holes in it, match it to holes in a wall, blah, blah, blah. This could be a stir stick. This could be edge banding. I mean, and so I would just keep it. Compound that for like 15 years, and this house was just full of stuff. And it's not a big house. Like, the main floor of this house is like 1,000 square feet. The upstairs is a little bit less than 1,000 square feet. And in this basement, if you include the garage, is 1,000 square feet. So, it's big in that sense, but it's not because the way the floor plan is laid out, there's no storage in this house. There's tiny little closets. It's a strange place. And so I just had stuff and not enough room to put it. The basement on the other side of this area was just a place where things gathered and never left. And so we've been spending the last 3 years just slowly churning through it all. And I'll move things from the upstairs to down here, and then once they've sat down here for a while, I can figure out, do I really care about that object? And if I don't, it can go away. And I can just keep moving through kind of everything that way. So this weekend, I don't want to say we've gotten rid of everything we don't want, but this weekend we were able to get rid of most of the big items that were left. I had like a shelf that I wanted to get rid of. I had this huge hutch in my dining room that took up way too much space. My dining room is more like a breakfast nook than a dining room, but so I had this china hutch that needed to go. I finally got it out of the house. I got that shelf out of the house. I had my wood area is in the laundry area, and it takes up a whole huge space because I have sheet goods. I have lots of pine. I have lots of scrap materials. It was overflowing. Like, there was just scrap wood all over the place. And so I spent a large amount of time cleaning that up, and I really got rid of all of the wood that just, it was given to me because I didn't have the money to go buy a 2x4 to work on, to make something. So I had just wood, just wood. And some of it was painted, some of it was, some of it was really good wood, but it was just stuff that was going to sit there because I didn't have a use for it. I don't make small projects, so having one, cherry board this big doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, or whatever. And then I had a big scrap bin here that sat here for a very long time. It's now empty. I ended up posting all my scrap wood on Facebook, and somebody showed up last night and took all of it. He's like, I'll take anything you have. He's like, I'll just run it through the planer and see what I got, and I'll make stuff. So he emptied me out, and this is going away, and I'm exhausted. Oh, and we painted. So the hutch went away, and that one wall, there's a wall in my dining room / kitchen. It kind of blends all together that was not painted. We painted the rest of the downstairs, but we haven't painted that one wall because this giant hutch thing. So I painted it this weekend. I put a second coat on it this morning, actually before work. I started at like 6:30 this morning, put a second coat on that wall. I'm now working my way like underneath the cabinets and stuff. I'll put a coat on tonight and then above the cabinets at some point. But now I've got to move a little bit of furniture around. But man, going back to the poor thing, I really never thought about why did I save stuff, I broke down pallets. I had pallets over here that needed to be broken down, and a couple of those pallets were prime examples. They weren't the kind of pallets that I would normally save. I save pallets because this sort of stuff, this is oak. It's about maybe a ½ inch. This makes wonderful craft projects. You can literally just butt joint and brad nail these together into a rectangle and add a couple of pieces across the bottom, and you have a little crate that'll sell for 20 bucks. And so I save pallets like that. But I had one pallet that had a 1/4 inch sheet or maybe 1/8 inch sheet of plywood on it, like stapled to it. Why did I save it? Well, the actual good news is I need that plywood because I need to build a new surround for my miter saw. But I saved it even though it wasn't the kind of pallet I would normally save. So anyway, the point is I broke it down and I have all these nails here. Am I ever going to use these nails? Absolutely not. I don't remember the last time I drove a nail. Prior me would have put these in a jar and said I might use these one day. New me says I can afford to go buy nails. And if I really need rusty nails, I can make them look rusty myself. I don't need to have aged pallet nails. And maybe that's a bit of consumerism. Maybe I'm just saying that I can afford it now, so I don't need to hold on to all these things. But when the holding on to things becomes cumbersome to the space that you're in, that's a problem. Holding on to this scrap bin, the sanding area of my shop has suffered because I've been holding on to shit here. And it needs to go away. It needs to get out of my way. I need to be able to put a mobile base on this. I need to put a mobile base on my sanding station so that I can actually use this space. There's still stuff over there that needs to go away. I'm working on that, but I'm exhausted. It was a good weekend. And, I am at a position now where I don't necessarily have to think of everything as I can't throw this out because I might need it. I don't know. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is ersatz. It's an adjective meaning a phony, a fake, a counterfeit, an inferior copy, a pale imitation of an original. Before his sentencing in jail term, the artist made an impressive living selling ersatz Rembrandt paintings. Ersatz. E-R-S-A-T-Z. That one is definitely new to me. Ersatz. What a strange word. Forgery? Like, why would you use ersatz?